to the ToyTubers Podcast. This week we have Jared, aka Sir
there.
Dork, a fellow dork in the DorkLair. What's
Right.
going on, man?
I put that together too. This is the first time I think I've done I don't know. It's cool. Two official dork things. Whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, things are going good. Thanks for bringing me on.
Welcome. So this is a show for anybody who's watching for the first time, all about toy-centric YouTubers who run channels, and whether they do it as a hobby or as a little part-time business or any of that stuff. And this week we have Sir Dork. Tell us about your channel, my friend.
Well, my YouTube channel is primarily toy photography based, but I have been trying to evolve it a little bit more, just because in my ever hopes for the channel to grow, toy photography is very narrow. There's it's amazing, and we have an amazing community of toy photographers, but the community of toy photographers is still much smaller than the community of toy people. There's millions and millions of people that just like toys. So if I'm able to do a little bit of a mixture of like toys, action figures, toy photography, mixing it up, it can not only appeal to a wider audience, but can also kind of expose more people to what toy photography is too, and get more people into that and just make everything grow. So I'm trying to do a bit of a hybrid lately of toy stuff, toy reviews, and then still adding toy photography into every video, even if it's just like a review or something.
Cool. And that kind of gets into a little bit of how you've changed over the years. Anything to add to sort of how this thing has evolved over the years?
Man, yeah, so much. I mean, when I first started it, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, when at the time I wasn't even a big YouTube user. I didn't even use it very much. I wasn't just familiar with how big YouTube was until my girlfriend, now fiance, she was a huge YouTube. She watched like makeup video, and she was just like into all that stuff, and just basically like, you should make a YouTube channel. Like, YouTube's huge. Like, you really should do this. I'm like, I don't know. But eventually she got me to do it, and it was like, I enjoyed doing it. And I first just started doing things that I knew about. Like one thing I really liked were fireworks. So one of my first videos for toy photography was fireworks tutorial, and it's really bad. Don't watch it. But it has definitely grown quite a bit since then. And I never really anticipated it to become almost like it's kind of almost become like a hub for people if they're starting toy photography. If you go there, there's just like a ton of tutorials, which some of them are really old, but some of them might be a little relevant. I'll watch it and I'll be like, this video kind of stinks, but I still agree with all the things I'm saying. And I don't totally disagree. But it has turned into something that is just like, if you want to go to the channel, I have like, I don't know, 100 videos of just about learning different toy photography stuff, which is cool. I never thought it would get to that point. And I get people who say they watch them. It's like, I learned so much, and now I do toy photography from you. And I'm just like, that's awesome. And
That is awesome.
I never thought it would ever be something like that. It's awesome.
Sweet. And so how about like your gear, your editing, your process, any of that, specifically in terms of like creating videos?
This is something that I've changed a million times, and I still do change as I just learn really about stuff. When I first started doing it, I used my fiance's camera because she had a YouTube channel, and it's a Nikon. It's like specifically like a vlogging type of camera, and you can, like, if you have it facing, you can bend the screen so you can see yourself. Like, so it's made for like YouTube kind of stuff. I don't remember what it was called, but it's not a bad camera. It does shoot in 4K, but I was using that for a while, and I just started using the editing software that she used also, which was something called WeVideo, which is a browser-based editing system, which it isn't super you can't do a lot of super in-depth things, but you can do a lot with it, and it's very user-friendly. And I still use that. I still use WeVideo,
Interesting.
and it's got like a great stock library of sounds and footage that are royalty free, which is very handy. And I've just gotten so used to using that software that I'm really quick with it. I have everything I've ever done is stored in like their cloud thing, so it's very convenient. And I could probably switch to like Adobe Premiere, which I've got the Creative Cloud anyway. But I feel very comfortable with my system, and time is
Mm-hmm.
such a valuable thing that um, I'm quick with it. So I'm just gonna keep using
Yeah.
WeVideo, and I'm curious to know if anyone else has ever even heard of WeVideo before.
Yeah, I haven't. And that's interesting that it's web based. Is this a subscription based thing?
Yeah, it's subscription based, and I do
Okay.
have like the plan, like a better plan that does include that stock footage, which can be really good because one of the things I really like to do when I make videos, especially ones where I'm just talking the whole time, is um, like if I'm just filming myself talking, it's boring. So I'm always
Yeah.
trying to put some type of visual representation on the screen of what I'm talking about, so it's easier to understand. It's also just more stimulating to watch
Yeah.
instead of just me talking.
Mm-hmm.
So the stock footage is very, very helpful.
Yeah. I need to do more of that because I primarily do reviews, but like I do, you know, breakdowns where I'm talking, and there's usually stuff like figures that I'm breaking down a wave that was recently announced, and I'll have the figures on the screen. But there are other videos where I'm sort of giving my opinion on things, and then it's just me talking the whole time. So I definitely should start thinking about weaving in some B-roll type stock footage
It's
stuff in my
it is kind of
videos.
fun.
Yeah.
Like I'll say it's like I think it's a good way to do it, and it doesn't I don't think it's necessary because if you're saying something that is interesting, then that's all you really need.
Yeah.
And but um, what was I just
But
gonna say?
it adds a little visual, you know what I mean? To
Yeah,
to to just enhance it.
yeah, I agree.
Any other gear
Oh, the
in your
gear. Sorry,
process
yes.
type stuff?
So actually, what I'm using now for filming is I'll either just use my iPhone
Hmm.
or I will use my same camera I shoot my photos with, which is my um, Sony Alpha 7 III, and um, I will. I'll try to use my DSLR when I'm doing anything, but so often I'm making videos where I'm taking photos in the video, so I can't do both
Right.
at the same time. And I'll just use my iPhone, and I have an iPhone 14 Plus, I
Hmm.
think, and camera's really good. The audio is really good. It's easy. It's incredibly quick, and it's even got like uh, automatic like stabilization. So if I'm like shaky moving around,
That's cool.
it's using your iPhone is crazy. It's just like I edit on a PC, which sometimes transferring the videos onto my PC to then edit them can be a bit of a pain, and I just use Google Drive for that.
Right. Yeah.
And yeah, that's it. Like if you have an iPhone, you can create some quality looking YouTube videos with
Do you,
just that.
do you run a mic into your iPhone when you're doing those, or do you just go right into the regular mic?
I just use the iPhone mic.
Yeah.
And like, there's been times if I'm ever shooting outside, like I have like a cheap wireless microphone that you can just plug into it. I just got it
Yeah.
on Amazon. It works okay, but it does work better if there's wind or something because I'll be shooting like on an outdoor shoot or something.
Yeah.
And then I do a lot of like if I'm like I have a video, then I'll have like a voiceover over that, and I
Yeah.
use
Yeah.
this microphone, which is the Blue Yeti,
Yep.
which is like $100 and probably the most common
Yeah.
mic.
I used to
Really
have
great.
that before I upgraded to this a few years back, and now my for the DorkLair podcast, Larry has that one now, so it's
Oh,
definitely familiar
that's
to the
great.
DorkLair.
Um, and I recently bought I bought a whole new computer and like I made a very permanent kind of setup for when I do stuff like this and while I'm editing because I used a laptop before then. So
Hmm.
I have been filming a lot just in this spot right here on my
Yeah.
desk, and I'm using a Elgato face cam for this, and it's really good. It's really
Yeah. It
good.
looks great. Yeah. I
Nice.
don't like, I'm on a MacBook, and this is what I do for live streaming and for, I've been doing it for these videos because I don't really have I don't have a separate camera for live streaming yet. I want to get one at some point. And this, I always feel orange or something. Like I always feel like a little off color on this
Oh,
thing,
really?
but yeah, I don't know. It
Yeah.
just
I don't,
doesn't quite represent what I've, you know.
hmm.
So if you were to ever go, or anybody watching were to ever go and watch any of my breakdown videos where I actually record myself with my DSLR, the color is just so much different and so much more natural than,
Right.
than what this is.
Gotcha.
But I mean, it's still fine. Like clarity is fine and whatnot. But how about like your workflow, your efficiencies, even like into life balance and just kind of getting it done? How do you get it done?
This is something that is tough because consistency with YouTube is very important. Um, and for the longest time, I didn't really care about consistency. I just when I had the idea to make a video and I had the time, I would make it and then I'll put it up, and then I would make another video sometime. Like there wasn't really much of a I don't know, like it wasn't really much of a channel, wasn't really much of any like if I had regular viewers, anything that anybody could rely on,
Like no
which
regular programming,
yeah,
so to speak.
which I think is really important because I think that differentiates a having a channel as opposed
Hmm.
to just I upload stuff on YouTube sometimes,
Yeah.
and especially because I'm also now I'm a big YouTube consumer, and there's a lot of channels that I like, and they post some of them every day, and which is a lot, but um,
Wild. Yeah.
yeah, I can count on that, and like oh, new episode of this I can put on while I'm working, but what I try to do now, and I've made some goals for myself, like this year and last year. Like, okay, I want to have a new like actual video, um, every Sunday, every week, like an actual video, and then I'll try to do a live stream every other week.
Hmm.
And I also have like a membership on my channel, which is crazy that anybody even wants to join it. And then I'll
Yeah.
try to do a live stream just for the members on the
Opposing
opposite
week.
week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about the membership. What's that all about?
Uh,
So people pay to have like stickers and whatnot, or what do you got going on with that?
well, so YouTube kind of has this like really great membership um, feature that you can have for a YouTube channel if you reach a certain point of like qualifying under the monetization stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so you basically like you can just do it all on YouTube, and they provide a lot of great stuff that are included in the memberships. Like you can make a live stream and then have it just for people who join the membership. Like, and it's
Yeah.
all through YouTube. Like you don't have to do extra work for that. And then you can make it so during live streams, any member has their name is highlighted in green, and they have special
Right.
emojis that only they can
That's what I
use.
think of. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and a bunch of stuff like that. And then you can pretty much add in other things too. And like if I wanted to just take a video and make it before I actually release it to the public, I could make it just for members and they get to watch it early or something.
Right.
Um, so for what I have for mine are I have a Discord channel. So if you become a member, you get to join the channel, which has kind of become the primary feature about it because the people
Hmm.
that are in that channel are like amazing. They've made this like awesome, supportive, kind mini community. It's like really cool. And
Did you create the channel, or did somebody else do that, or like who runs and manages the Discord channel?
I do.
You
Um,
do? Yeah.
and I don't really have to really because everyone's great. I don't have to put a whole ton of work into it, but
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of just enjoy popping in and interacting and being a part of it anyway. But that was actually something I added much later on
Yeah.
after people had suggested it. But one of the things I do on the channel in general is I have like these reaction streams every month. I call them reaction streams where I have like a challenge where it's like take a toy photo with this theme, and all the themes are always like really weird, like add an egg in your photo somehow. And so yeah, they're like annoyingly obscure themes. And I'll like I used to do every single person. I would just have a stream where I would feature every single photo, but now there's too many. of them, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So I only do the top 100 ones that get featured. But if you're a member on the channel at a certain tier, you get your photo automatically featured on the thing. So um, there is some stuff that I think is kind of cool on the membership, and it's something that's really I had to really put a lot of time into, like, do I really want to make a membership where people pay me every month? And I didn't decide to do that until I thought that what I'm offering in this membership was actually worth the money. Um,
That's kind of where I am right now with contemplating any sort of membership. Is like I haven't thought of anything worthwhile yet to like make the membership
yeah,
worthy. You know?
I know what you mean, and like it's I still think about it sometimes, and I feel bad sometimes. I'm like, why are these people like giving me money just to like me to talk about their picture? Um, but I really just I've tried to make it worth it as much as I can for everyone in there, I'll continuously add new kinds of features, and
Mm.
I know YouTube is also really focusing on that because YouTube gets a portion of all the
Yeah.
membership subscriptions, so they want to make it good too, so people will join. Um, so they're continuously adding more features, which will in turn make it better for anyone who joins a membership too. Um, so so yeah.
Sweet. Let's see. So anything else with like, how about like the life balance side of it? How do you
Right.
maintain this stuff?
Well, I don't have any kids or anything, so that's one thing that
Yeah.
I definitely will have an advantage over a lot of people. It's just me and my fiance at home,
Yeah.
and I also work from home, so like this
Okay.
is my work computer
Right.
right here. So, and sometimes there's days that are slower than others at work, so I can really take advantage of that and just turn over to the side and work on things whenever I need to. And I'm incredibly fortunate to be able to do that. It's really nice. So I can work on things that way. But I'll just try to like Sundays are my day to post a video, so I'll try to take advantage of Saturdays as much as I can to um, like that's usually how my weekends are just doing YouTube stuff or
Mm-hmm.
Sir Dork stuff.
Yeah.
Um, so I'll film and edit stuff, and I've gotten a really good system with editing and filming, so I'm pretty quick and efficient, I think. But I'll just do it when I have time, and I don't really like I don't really have like lots of friends. Like I've got my group of friends, but I see them every so often. Like I don't really do a whole lot of other things. Like all I really want to do with my life is just hang out at home with my fiance and just be ourselves. And then in my free time, I can work on this stuff, and I love doing that stuff. So I don't have a ton of other crazy um, responsibilities besides that kind of thing, or just my family. That's about it.
Yeah. Cool. How about like the content? What are some of your favorite figures to either photograph or to review?
Mhm.
Your favorite lines of toys and even like subjects, I guess, so to speak.
Well, well, this is also something that is always changing, and so my collecting habits are usually like adjacent to the things I want to shoot and review and stuff like that. So I I like Star Wars, so it's usually Star Wars related things,
Mm-hmm.
and I very rarely will ever shoot or review things that are like very obscure because the more obscure a character is, or like if I'm gonna shoot this new, let's see, what's a very so okay, let's say Pokemon. For instance, Pokemon's not super obscure, but if I post a picture with Garbodor, a Pokemon that nobody knows
Mm-hmm.
that I love, nobody's gonna really care about that.
Yeah.
And so like it's I have to really make decisions based on things that I like and then also things that will be able to have a response from viewers and stuff like that. So I'll usually use very prominent characters in pop culture. Like I've been doing a lot of horror things because people love like Michael Myers and they connect with people. And I just did a photo with the Ghostface guy, even though I've only
Mm-hmm.
seen one Scream movie. But
Mm-hmm.
um, I usually try to use prominent pop culture related things. Um, but my favorite lines, like I really, SH Figure Arts has become like SH Figure Arts and Mafex are the two like brands that I'll try to get as much stuff as I can from, just because I tend to collect quality over quantity now. Not saying like things like Black Series and Marvel Legends are not quality, but I would rather buy like one or two really expensive quality figures that I really will spend a lot of time with than just collecting a bunch of army builders or something. And I do find
Mhm.
myself reusing figures often as I shoot them. But
As
I'll
in,
use
like you find favorites that you keep coming back to. Is that what you're
yeah,
saying? Yeah.
like so whenever I take like my toy photos, for instance, I'll usually just come up with a weird, funny idea, and then I'll think, okay, what character would go with this idea? And most of the time, it's like the Mandalorian and Grogu, just because they're
Right.
people love those characters. I love those characters. They work well, and they work in this weird idea that I have. Like, um, I posted a photo of the Mandalorian shooting a waffle in the air,
Mhm.
and I was like, I want to have a waffle floating, and so it's just okay. The Mandalorian works because we're something. It's just it's the idea will usually come first, then the characters will come second, and then the brand will be like, okay, what's like the best 1/12 scale of this character, and that's what I'll go with. Because I don't really love shooting the bigger like 6 scale stuff.
Right.
They're okay, but I mean, I love to collect them, but I like to shoot the smaller ones.
Right. Yeah. That's an ongoing theme on the Toy Tubers. Is in general, a lot of the guests, that, and myself included, love collecting 6 scale. Hate not I want to say playing with them, but like doing any sort of photography or reviewing because of the size and
Yeah,
just like the limitations on that. Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely. I mean, I'm sure some people would say no, it's not more difficult. It's actually easier, but I think it's more difficult, at least with my skill level.
Right. Um. So how about, so you've had some like sponsorships and promotions and things like that. Like you've worked with some companies, right, to do some professional photography. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, sure, definitely. This isn't something that happens super often, but when it does, they sometimes are like these projects that take me several weeks or even
Mm-hmm.
months. And I've actually been really fortunate to kind of develop this relationship with this kind of smaller UK based team for Disney. Back in 2019, somebody found my Instagram that worked for Disney, and they invited me to be a part of this thing they were doing called My Star Wars Story, just like
Mm-hmm.
this fun promotion they were doing with Triple Force Friday, because Rise of Skywalker and The Mandalorian were all coming out,
Oh, that's right.
and
Yeah.
it's like a fun fan feature thing, and they invited me to go, and as well as another toy photographer named Dan Sparks, Rebel Jawa. He doesn't post too
Okay.
much anymore, but really great guy. And so they invited us to London, and we did all this filming and stuff, and it was crazy. But ever since then, I've kind of gotten a relationship with them where they will sometimes come back to me when they need photos for um, different toy promotions for social media. And this most recent one, it was called From Our Galaxy to Yours, I think it was called. And it was definitely the biggest project I think I've ever done. And it was, um, I think, a total of like 25 photos, but that means like I'm going to take like 2,500 until they choose which ones they really like, and which is fine. And so it was basically just recreating famous, iconic Star Wars scenes with different Star Wars toys, from Hasbro to Funko to Lego, and then some ships too. So there's Jazzwares, and then these Revell um, model kit figures, and sometimes there's some plushy stuff in there too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just they basically will, they'll say, they send me a spreadsheet and have a column. Okay, we have these scenes that we want recreated. Can you just send us like a slide deck of like your ideas for these photos? and I'll just kind of like take photos from Google of like screenshots or something. Like, okay, the photo will kind of look like this, and I'll use this to make this, and they'll say okay. And pretty much every time those ideas from that point are changed greatly towards the very end, because then they change their minds about different things, and they have these big ideas for this one scene, but they can't get the toys for it, which is really weird to me. Like, how does, of all people, they can't get the right toys? Like, there was one instance where they really wanted to do the Mustafar scene with
Yeah.
and they sent me like an Attack of the Clones Anakin Black Series, and then a Revenge of the Sith, the vintage collection Obi-Wan Kenobi. And I was like, okay, I can't. I was like, okay, well, this is the Anakin from the other movie. I don't know if you. And then they're not the same size. I mean, I can do something. It's not going to be very accurate.
Yeah.
And then so they end up changing their mind and doing something else. And so it's very weird.
That is funny.
But yeah, basically, yeah. After those pre-visualizations are approved, I go and shoot, and then send it over to them, and those photos had to be approved by that internal team, Lucasfilm, which is pretty cool, like actual Lucasfilm people, and then the Disney compliance team, which is usually like, well, we don't want Grogu to be that like close to like basically just keeping their precious characters precious and not ever like implementing any ideas associated with these characters that they just don't really want associated, because they're precious characters and it's official stuff. So there's usually a lot of feedback coming from all different places, and I'll have to reshoot and stuff like that. But eventually they decide on the final photos, and I'll add like the little Lucasfilm thing on the bottom, which is kind of cool. And then they pay me, which is crazy to believe that. And then you can, like, if you were to go to like the Star Wars official, the Star Wars UK Instagram, it's usually like the European Star Wars pages. So Facebook, Twitter, like Star Wars UK. If you scroll down, you'll see a bunch of my photos.
Nice.
Which is it's quite a cool thing to be able to talk about.
Yeah, I'm dying to know like a situation you put Grogu in that they didn't allow. Is that something you can say, or is that like?
Oh no, like... a lot of the time it's like because like there's this one little toy called Snackin' Grogu, which is a Hasbro toy where it comes with these different meals, and it's like this big, and he'll like eat the food and make noises. And I did one by like a campfire because he was eating the frog by the campfire, like, and I was trying to be like that scene, and it was too close to the fire, and we don't like that close to real fire or something like that. That was kind of just like on a whim.
I could see that. We don't want to put a toy that close to a fire because we don't want some kid to go putting their toy that close to a fire. Yeah, I can totally see that.
Yeah.
So you mentioned earlier that you do watch some other channels that you're now, you used to not be a big YouTube watcher, but now you are more so. So what are some of your favorites?
Well, the handful of like toy YouTubers, like most of them you've pretty much had right on your on the ToyTubers. Like, like I'll watch Trevor, and I'll watch 16Shooter, and I'll watch like D Amazing, and the Toy Talk guys with Toy Father and No Chewing, like those guys, and Yimbo, and the handful of those toy photographers I'll definitely keep up with. And the Star Wars Time Show, it's another toy photography kind of channel. I mean, there's Star Wars, but
that one I gotta check them out.
Yeah, definitely. I think actually they're live right now. And what's another? There's one toy channel that I like. I think it's called Justin's Collection, and he's got this really like this nasally British voice, and he voices over mostly like 1/6 scale and hot toy stuff. And I think he does a good job. But that's just other than toy stuff. I enjoy just watching a lot of Star Wars stuff. Like basically the intellectual properties that I'm into, those translate over to the YouTube channels I watch. So I watch a lot of Star Wars channels. I'm a big Pokemon player, so I watch a lot
Oh,
of
interesting.
Pokemon channels.
Cool. Like the card game or the video games?
Well, pretty much everything. It's been like I've been a huge Pokemon guy for in my entire life, but not so much the card game anymore. I've kind of moved away from that in the last like 5 years or so when it kind of had this giant blow up.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, it kind of became hard to be a card collector, which actually was kind of good. And the random sidetrack, I had a giant card collection when I used to play competitively, but I sold them all, and I used that money to buy this house that we
Wow.
live
So
in.
did you sell them in like 2021 or
Yeah,
so? Like, yeah, everything
yep.
was nuts at that point.
It was at that
I
time.
I collect Magic the Gathering and I have since 1994. I've never played competitively, but like I've played with my regular group of tabletop buddies since then. Like we still play, once or twice a year. But I have a huge collection, and because it's so valuable, I have to keep track of it because at
Yeah,
this point, you could put a down payment on a house with the
that's what we did.
collection. So it's like
It's
I
crazy.
gotta keep track of it.
Yeah, and I actually during that time when I started selling, the first thing I did was send my like 20 most valuable cards to PSA. And
Yeah.
then by the time I got those back, I had already sold every single one of my other cards individually. It took so long to get those back. Like it took like almost 2 years
Wow.
because of, I mean, I'm assuming it's because of that giant Pokemon card blow up.
The big rush on grading. Yeah, there was a huge
Yeah.
rush on grading at that
I'm
around
assuming
then.
that was because of Pokemon. I don't know if any other cards were also blowing up at the same time, but
They were. Magic was for
oh,
sure.
really? So I guess
Yeah.
the pandemic was probably partially a part of that. You think?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it definitely was.
But as of right now, I have one card left that I haven't sold.
Yeah, that was a wild time. Like 2020, and I sold stuff during that time, but I did not have the I don't know. I couldn't let go of my collection. There was like a mad opportunity to make a ton of money, and I did,
Right.
like, I sold some stuff, but the core, like all of my cards, because I still play with my friends, it's not like I paid that much for these cards. I paid pennies on the dollar for them, but I couldn't let a lot of them go,
I
so
totally
I still have
try.
my
I
collection.
get that, and like an advantage, I feel like I probably had like me being like a giant Pokemon fan. Pokemon cards are one of the many mediums in which Pokemon
Yeah,
exists and means to me. But Magic is just the cards, right?
it's
There's not really
yeah.
any. So
There's Magic Arena now. It's like an online app type of a game that's pretty good,
right.
but yeah, there's no other types of video games. The Arena is the card game, just straight up.
Hmm.
But yeah, cool. Okay, so last question: what are your future goals for your channel, if any?
Well, I mean, one day I would love for Mr. Beast to just say, "Hey, there's a channel called Sir Dork," and then gain a trillion subscribers. I mean, I think everybody who has a channel would love for that to happen. Um, but I really my goals are very short term, but like I feel like the short term goals will be really effective long term. Just really want to stay consistent. I want to continue to
Hmm.
make um, good stuff. I want my videos to look really good, and I just want to keep learning. I've been very a lot more analytical with what seems to do well, what doesn't seem to do well, and YouTube has these incredible the analytics in the YouTube studio are
Yeah,
incredible. It'll tell you everything about every tiny little bit of a video to see like what does well. Like they like YouTube of all of the different platforms you could be part of, whether it be Instagram or whatever. YouTube's the best. They just like they really seem like they care about their the people that watch and the people that create. Um, so I really use those analytics to see like what does better, and like you can even see like what like look at one video and it'll show you the like rate of when people start watching and then stop watching your video and leave, and that's really helpful. So yeah, just trying to learn about that stuff, what type of content does well. I've been trying to add more, like my channel for so long was every video was just toy photography. This is lighting, this is posing, but I've been trying to do a lot more videos about figures too, like about toys and talking about the just toy things that are happening and new figures, and incorporating toy photography into that too, because that brings more people in, and those videos do pretty good. So just trying to adapt, and as long as I keep doing that, hopefully the channel will continue to grow.
And speaking of like growth strategies, one thing that I really like about your channel are your thumbnails. I feel like you got really nice
Thank you.
thumbnails with awesome text, and just everything pops, and it's like it's
Thank
a
you.
nice browsing experience when you're just kind of flipping through your channel.
That means a lot. I put like so much thought into a thumbnail and the title of videos. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's it's crazy how important that is. Like
Yeah,
like you could have like a really good video, but if your thumbnail and the title is, I don't want to say it sucks, but like if it's not like something that gives people like that, first of all, it has to be like flashy, so like not flashy, but like enough for someone to go, "Ooh, what's that?"
eye catching. Yeah,
Eye catching, and then also like gives you a little bit of an idea of what is happening in the video, like a little bit of this, and then like it also has to be like compelling, like the title. Like I don't like to have titles of just this review, like um like new Mandalorian figure review. I'll try to have a title that's like, this is why I love this figure so much, or
mm-hmm.
something, this new Mandalorian figure so much. And that's, I mean, that's what a lot of the big YouTubers tend to do, and I'm always looking at stuff like that,
Yeah,
and that seems to be much more compelling, because right in the title right there you've got, okay, this is about the Mandalorian figure, but he really loves this figure, it's awesome, and he's gonna tell me everything about why he loves it so much. So there's so much all within that little title that is
yeah.
giving info. So um, I'm always trying to learn about that. And sometimes I feel like I'll make a really good video and I'll post it and I'll put a thumbnail that I think is good, and then I'll be like, man, this video sucks, and I'm like, you know what, that thumbnail kind of sucked in the titles. So
Right.
like maybe it was because
Reflecting back. Yeah.
and another thing I've learned is adding numbers into your title in some way, where like 5 best ways to do this, like 5 best tips for this, or 10 top 10. um, that's just like a thing that YouTubers or YouTube viewers tend to click on more. I guess it's just like, oh well, you can tell me 5 quick things, that's, I'm gonna know exactly what I need to know, and only 5 things, and that's quick. I don't know, it's just,
Yeah.
that's a thing.
It,
So
my best videos every year are my best performing videos every year are my top 10 lists, or top 5, like at the end of the year, like top 5 figures, top 10 figures. Those
yeah,
always do really well.
yeah, that's really important. And if you can figure out, like, even if you're just doing a figure review, if you can figure out a way to add those types of title thumbnail techniques into just the review title, and just say top 5 reasons why you should buy this figure,
Yeah.
that's like, that makes more people click on it. And unfortunately, a lot of negative things tend to do well. I don't really try to add any negative things on my channel, like top 5 reasons why you should never get, top 5 reasons why Hasbro sucks.
Yeah.
It's like stuff like that people tend to gravitate towards.
I was tempted today. So I just got in a new wave of Mythic Legions, and there was one figure that somebody posted, like, this always happens where the wave just releases and the first guy who posts a photo, it's not a great photo. It's just like, here it is. I pulled the box out of the thing, and
Yeah,
it's like this blurry photo or whatever. And
yeah,
it's a figure that's sort of a steel gray, steel blue type, like a bluish silver, and it just looked gray in the photo that they posted, and like people just went crazy on the
wow,
big Mythic Legions Facebook group saying, they showed a blue figure and that photo makes it look gray. They sold us a gray figure and we were supposed to get a blue figure. You know how social media is.
Yeah.
So I was tempted to make a thumbnail that says just more in mockery of that type of behavior.
Yeah.
That just says bait and switch and like have the gray picture next to the blue picture, but like I don't really want to. I know it would get like a lot more views, but I'm like, it's kind of shitty.
Or do some type of, I don't know, do some type of like that type of energy into the title somehow, but still like
Yeah.
have the video be somewhat positive. Or, I don't know. I think that sounds like a good idea.
We'll see. Maybe I'll give it a try. Maybe I'll give it a try for a couple days and then chicken out and switch the thumbnail out.
Yeah.
But Jared, thank you so much for coming on. And do you have any? Why don't you like share your social media
Sure.
handles and all that stuff?
Awesome, thanks. Sure, you can find me. So on YouTube, I'm Sir Dork. So if you just type in Sir Dork, you'll find me, or just type in Jared Middleton. That will also come up. And on Instagram, I'm at sir.dork. And same everywhere else on Twitter and stuff like that too. And I have been trying to use Twitter a little bit more. It's a very interesting platform. So Twitter's actually kind of interesting. But anyway, but yeah, that's pretty much it. And I mean, if you want to find links to all my stuff, just go to sirdork.com, and literally everything that I ever have done is all there in some way.
And anybody watching, there will be links in the description below to all of those. So
Thanks.
Thank you very much, Jared. And until next time, may the force be with you.
And you as well.